Hello again, welcome back everyone. Liquor Hound here with you. Thank you for joining me once again for another spirit review video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at some of my top tequila picks under $30. Now I say some because several of these could have easily been duplicated, triplicated, in the sense that, you know, El Caballo Estrella, I love the entire line, so they all could have been here. But because I'm going to be nosing and tasting all of these, I really needed to try to condense and pick only my favorites. So I have 3 Blancos and the rest Añejos. That's going to be a personal preference thing because I love purity of Blancos, but I really love it when a tequila has time in the barrel to gain complexities of wood sugars and fruits and that type of thing. So you'll find me leaning towards Añejo, extra Añejos a lot. Now, if you're a Reposado person and really love those, fantastic. They could have even, again, been in here, but it's just a personal thing. All right, let's meet them. Cabrito, $22 for their Blanco. Camarena, only $16 for their Blanco. That's the lowest in the lineup. El Padrino Blanco at $24. El Padrino Anejo at $29.99, so it barely snaked under the bar. 100 Años Anejo at $20. El Caballo Estrella Anejo at $23. El Jimador Anejo at $25. Gran Centenario Anejo at $27. El Toro de Lidia at $29 for their Anejo. Hornitos Anejo at $23, and Hornitos Black Barrel at $26 for that Anejo. All right, let's get to the nosing. Cabrito, back over here, Blanco. Oh, this one's nice. This one's got really fresh agave, mint, but buttery. It's so buttery on the nose. That's the thing that immediately jumped out. There's a little bit of a cinnamon, white pepper thing going on, but man, is this one all about the fresh agave with the mint. Very nice, good rich aromatic. All right, Camarena Blanco. This one has a sour tone to it. So when you think agave, or if you think old school agave, where they used to crush the piñas and let the fibers of the pulp of the piñas and juice ferment together, and a lot of times that kind of came through onto the flavor profile. That's what I'm getting right here on the nose. Soured agave, a little twinge of mint, but it's mostly the sour agave and almost like an olive complexity or olive oil type note on the nose. The only thing I can think of that reminds me of this one is the Fortaleza Blanco. Sometimes that'll get, batch to batch, they get different, but typically they'll have this real kind of sour fermentation depth to them. That's what I'm getting in the Camarena Blanco. All right, El Padrino Blanco on the nose. Fresh agave, vanilla driven, a little mint, almost a little floralness to it. Of that agave is so fresh. And that's it. It's very straightforward, but it's very clean. The thing that makes that so unique is how big the vanilla tone is throughout. That's what I love about following it with the Añejo version, because it's just, watch what happens here. Golly. It's caramel, this big butterscotch tone, but the vanilla is even amplified more than the Blanco. Red fruits popping. The agave is baked, so it's getting sweeter now on the nose. Some oak, but it's super sweet again. The thing that's unique here is just butterscotch, baked agave, caramel, leading into red fruits, a smidge of cinnamon, but it's so underneath everything else. And then that vanilla tone from front to back in both of these. And this one's just bigger. All right, 100 Años Anejo. All right, here we got more, it's almost more brown sugar. Almost hitting into molasses. It's deep. This one I would say it's almost like dried fruits on the nose. Little cinnamon and some oak. Not super sweet on the nose. Baked agave. Deeper aromatically. All right, El Caballo Estrella Anejo. Wow, much sweeter. This one is almost like baked agave Butterscotch again. Almost caramel butterscotch, but I would almost say this one was leaning a little more caramel, to whereas this one was butterscotch. So caramel, a little butterscotch, baked agave, red fruits, almost a little bit of a strawberry tone to those red fruits. But sweet, so sweet aromatically. Even the oak on the back end, when I was kind of twinging on that one, it was just sweet oak. All right, let me reset the nose real quick. Some coffee beans. All right. El Jimador Anejo at $25. Oh, wow. This one's butterscotch. All butterscotch. Baked agave. Some red fruits. And a little cinnamon and oak. But I love the purity of this one. This one's not super complex, but what it's doing is doing big. So it's big butterscotch, big baked agave, red fruits in there, and a little cinnamon, maybe a little mint as well. Really nice. All right, Gran Centenario Anejo. Okay, this one's got baked agave, twinge of sourness, but a lot of caramel, a little bit of mint, a little vanilla, and a little, what was that? It's almost a little, yeah, it's a little caramel, little vanilla thing going on. Almost like a toffee note. Really nice. Okay. Toro de Lidia Anejo. Wow, this one has, it's strawberries on the nose. It's very, very floral. It's a combination almost like baked and fresh agave. It's almost like the freshness of a Blanco and the baked sugars of the agave of an Anejo with pretty big citrus oils, almost it's oranges and a floral kind of thing going on like rose hips. It's amazing. The fruits, the red fruits in there were almost like strawberry driven. All right, Hornitos Anejo, right here at 23. Chocolatey, baked agave, but huge chocolate, cocoa powder, so it's not too sweet. Almond oil. And that's about what I get on the Hornitos Anejo. So much more different than traditional, but very good. All right, Black Barrel Hornitos. That one's crazy. This one's full of red fruit. A little vanilla. But the most unique thing is the fact that it has a cedar tone going through on the nose. There's oak, but there's a huge cedar, like fresh sanded or fresh sawed cedar wood, when you get a real rich, pungent kind of thing going on. Yeah, there it is. Nice. So while the baked agave is in there, it's just the cedar. It's huge. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the tasting. Cabrito Blanco. Butteriness comes right on through. Butter, fresh agave, mint. That vegetal thing of almost like bell pepper is in here. Medium, just above medium viscosity, because that butter, it's almost like a butter cream thing, is kind of giving a little more viscous than I think it would normally get without that buttery tone. But the vegetal fresh agave is kind of lingering. Very, very long time. Really rich, really nice. For $22, that's amazing. All right, Camarena Blanco. That sourness. There it is. It comes through right on the palate, just like it knows. It's a soured agave, olive oil, olives, fresh olives, you know. It is almost like vegetal on the back end. The only thing I can think of, again, Fortaleza, that line has that kind of character. So if you're looking for a cheap substitute for that, Camarena, that's where you're going to go for the Blanco. Really solid. All right, El Padrino Blanco is up next. We're still at medium viscosity. The only one that was a little above was going to be Cabrito so far. But here, good solid medium viscosity. Vanilla. The fresh agave coming through. Little hint of there's a big mint, but there's a little vegetalness to the agave, which is really nice. But the amazing thing is the vanilla just carrying throughout, front to back. Fantastic, and it just lingers for a very long time. God, that vanilla is huge. And it hasn't spent any time in a barrel, so it's just, that's from the distillate. All right, the Añejo version. This one has had barrel time, so let's see. Yes, caramel butterscotch in equal proportions is what I'm getting here. Laid on an equally big vanilla tone. Cinnamon kind of rolling and adding warmth on the mid palate. This one I noticed the cinnamon kind of a little bit of a peak. This one's not. This one's kind of just developing and warming in there, mixed in with everybody else, leading into a very, very rich sweet oak on the back end. The vanilla, the caramel butterscotch, and the baked agave just roll throughout the whole thing. Sometimes the baked agave can get a little covered up here, but definitely a sweeter style tequila without being syrupy. All right, really nice there. All right. 100 Anos Anejo. That depth, kind of focus that it had on the nose coming through here on the palate. It enters and almost immediately it's like baked agave, red fruits right together. And then cinnamon, caramel, burnt caramel almost. Yeah, burnt caramel heading into the back end. Trying just a smidge heading into the oak. It's definitely noticeable. But overall, very, very enjoyable. Dense, compact right here. For only $20, that's a great, great buy. The flavors just go. I think it starts leaning a little heavy on the oak on the back end. But other than that, really good. Okay. El Caballo Estrella Anejo. Wow. Very, very nice as how that richness of the caramel. It's caramel, again, a little butterscotch. What is that? It's almost equal parts butterscotch caramel on this one. Baked agave. Luckily, the baked agave is in there and it's not being covered up by either. It's just being joined by it. Sweet, sweet oak. Little red fruits in here as well. Almost agave. It's agave nectar. That's what it is. It's agave nectar flavor kind of throughout. So it's caramel, butterscotch, and agave nectar. But again, it doesn't get syrupy, so that's a great thing. It's not overly sweet like some extra añejos, even some that I've reviewed, are very, very sweet. And this one has that sweetness, but it doesn't feel like it's artificial, so it's very, very nice there. All right, we're going to move on to El Jimador. This one was $23, by the way. Now we're at $25. Definitely more butterscotch here than caramel. Baked agave. Some red fruits. Yeah, raspberries, little cherries. Maybe a little bit of strawberries, but But the focal point is the caramel and the baked agave and the butterscotch. Oh, what am I getting here? So it's a little more butterscotch than caramel. So it's butterscotch, caramel, agave, baked agave. Really nice. Red fruits coming on the back end. Oak on the finish. But there's a really nice sweetness to this one. It doesn't feel as sweet as here, but the butterscotch aspect is bigger on this one. All right, Gran Centenario Anejo. Rich baked agave. Here's the focal point. These two were focused on the caramel, the butterscotch thing initially. Here you're right into baked agave sugars. Then you start focusing and you can get a little caramel aspect to it. A little mint, cinnamon. It's more simplistic, not as sweet, but the focus is all tequila driven. All agave. More of a traditional style here. The oak can tend to be a little more drying on the back end because you don't have enough of that sugar to carry and make it feel sweet. But that's going to be the sacrifice for this style of tequila. Really, really, still well done. All right, at $27. El Toro de Lidia Anejo at $29. This was that one. Yep, it's citrusy. Very unique on the palate. Medium viscosity, as they've all pretty much been. The ones that were a little sweeter kind of tended to have a little more viscosity to them, as did that Cabrito. But here, medium viscosity. It enters and it's just full of orange oils and rose hips, fresh baked agave combination, which is so unique. It was coming through on the nose. It's coming through here on the palate. But the orange oils, it's almost coming off like orange liqueur on the palate. It's pretty big. Kind of covers up the agave. You have to be careful here because now we're getting so much complexity that the agave is sometimes getting a little covered up. Little cinnamon, a little white pepper, and the oak is in there, but it's so covered up by those big, intense things that were happening up front with the citrus and the orange and wow, and that floral, that rose hip thing. I do like how it impacts and then you get the agave and it kind of just, it flutters back and forth. But if you're more of a traditional tequila enthusiast, this one may be a little too odd for you. Okay. All right, Hornitos Anejo. We are back on the chocolate. Here we go with the baked agave, burnt brown sugar, cocoa powder dusting type thing going on. Some red fruits, but they almost come off like a little bit of a, this whole thing feels like a dessert style to me. So you're getting almost like a German chocolate cake aspect to it, with some red jam somewhere in there. You can't pick out the Pacific red fruit, so it's just kind of a jamminess. And then, yeah, the almond oil that I was getting on the nose is coming through on the palate, almost like an amaretto liqueur with that chocolatiness. So again, these are not traditional styles. So if you're looking for a traditional flavor of tequila, these are not it. But good for what they are. Again, if you got burned by tequila at one time or you don't really enjoy tequila, this may be kind of like that side door, back door entry to tequila. Getting used to a little bit of that unique flavor, a little bit of the agave, And then you can work your way back into a little more traditional style. Nice. All right. Black Barrel Anejo at $26 here for the finish. And I'm glad I put that one at the back end. It is so cedar driven on the nose and the palate. I mean, you get a little baked agave. You get a ton of red fruits. And it is cherries and raspberries. Smidge, nah, not really strawberry. Let's just focus more on cherries. Almost blackberry. And then you get into the baked agave, and it's just super baked where it's caramelized. So you're getting caramel in here. And then that oak, it just, from the very beginning, when you first take that sip, it's like, it's a baked agave and cedar comes in almost immediately. And then you're joined with the red fruits, the cinnamon on the mid palate, vanilla underneath. Yeah. Red fruits are huge. The red cedar is big. The baked agave underneath those. The cinnamon clove, that's a very unique nose, tasting. Clove is pretty big here. And those are kind of underneath that huge cedar and berry thing going on. And on the closing, on the finish, you start getting, again, the oak is, and then you start focusing, oh, okay, it's a little more oaky. All right, that's nice, but then the cedar note just carrying throughout. And it must be a combination of the red fruits and all that toasted barrel and that heavy charred barrel, and then the baked agave sweetness is just giving you a cedar tone. Really, really enjoyable. I love it, but it is very, very unique. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for leaving those great comments. Of course, if you have one that you felt should have been in here, hey, there's no wrong answers. It very well could have been. This is all personal preference, and everybody's palate's different. But leave it in the comments. You know, maybe others would enjoy it as well. So thank you for watching. Everybody have a great evening, and cheers.